Hi everyone, Devin Rex for Art here. So today I was thinking about trying a background technique. I had done this coloring page following one of Dee Dee Willingham's streams. It's from the Billeriage Wild. So I did a pan pastel version similar to how Dee Dee had done on her stream. And I also copied it because I was thinking about trying it in markers. During the copying process, I was having some trouble with my printer ink, so I ended up getting a couple extra copies just on copy paper. So what I did was I cut one out. I fussy cut it out because I thought that might be a neat way to make doing a background a little bit easier. I could lay that on top of there. The other thing I thought would be cool to try would be a background using a technique that I saw on a video from Notion's marketing. It was titled Coloring Techniques with Pan Pastels, and it's back from February 2018. So I'll link that below. I'll also link Dee Dee's video below. And in that video, they went over different pan pastel techniques. One of them, a VersaFine stamping ink to stamp an image, and then when you put the pan pastel, it gets darker in that area. So we'll try that. I haven't done this yet. I did a few little, I haven't tried this part yet. This next part, I did do some samples. So what I thought was I could do green to blue, and then up here in the blue section, do some like bouquet effects using the stencil. And originally I thought I could just use some other colors on top to do the bouquet, but then I thought, what about using a kneaded eraser? Because Dee Dee shows how you could use a kneaded eraser to remove color. So I did a couple samples of that. This one I added a bit of Posca to make little highlights, but I thought that looked kind of neat. I might do a few different colored ones behind first and then add the removal technique. So not sure where that's going to go, but we will work on it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp this little foliage stamp. It's from a Stamping Up set called Very Versailles. I think I'm just going to just tape it, because right here it's actually pretty close, and I can probably just fill that in with some color. So we'll do that. So hopefully that stays in place. And I'm going to use my Versamark. So fingers crossed this works. I think it stamps better if I have a little pad under it. So I'm just going to move that over. And what I'll do is I'm going to bend that under. I should mention that pan pastel, you have to use this fixative spray. So when I did the coloring page, why is that bumpy? When I did the coloring page like Dee Dee did, so you do the pan pastel first, then you add the fixative spray, and then you can add some colored pencils over top. So that's what I did, but you can refer to Dee Dee's video. I'm going to link it down below. All right, I think that's pretty good. I mean, having the mask on isn't crucial for this step because I'm not going to be stamping on top of her. I should have, I tried to be organized, but then there's always things you don't think about. All right, so let's do that about there. You can't see it in the video, but I could see it when I look on an angle, and I'll show you in a minute. So that was the Versamark stamp pad. So if I lift this up, I don't know if you can faintly see that outline. So I'm gonna get rid of this now. So I thought I would start with some green. I'm going to turn this like so. And I use these two colors of green, and then I'm going to fade into probably this blue here. So that's phthalo green and that's permanent green. And Dee Dee has lots of videos where she uses Pan Pastels in her coloring books. So I'm not an expert on Pan Pastels. I did get this colorless blender based on that video from Notions Marketing that I saw. They did a cool demo and it just seemed to make it easier to spread the color. Now, they did mention that if you then use colored pencils over top, then it's harder, it doesn't really stick on very well. So if you're gonna use colored pencils, they don't recommend using the colorless blender. I'm not planning on using colored pencils on this part. So I'm going to try to always go from the paper outwards. So I'm not going to go that way because I don't want to smush the Pan Pastel underneath. But use a little bit of this bright green too, just to give it a bit more of a mottled wild look. So I think that's kind of cool. Use lighter beside her face. And then I'm going to switch to blue there, but I'm going to do this side first. So I hope this mask is close enough to her. If not, we could probably just fill it in with a bit of colored pencil. Trying to be a little bit random with my colors. Okay, and then you just change colors, just wipe it on a paper towel. Just gonna brush off some of that excess, just so I don't smudge it underneath too much. Okay, so for the blue, let's start at the top and work our way down. So my hope is that this is a fast and easy way to do a background. I did get a little bit of the green in there, but that's okay because it'll make it easier to blend it, I think. I wanted that pure blue at the top, and then I want it to fade into here because we want some contrast for those little bubbles that we're going to add. So that's pretty good. Okay, let's go on the other side. And then we can do the blue under here after, just before we take it off. Ooh, that moved. Hope I didn't smudge my flower too much. But because I haven't fixed this Pan Pastel, even if we smudge it onto the picture underneath, we can probably remove some of it, because just grab a little of that green, it's not fixed yet. So I think if it goes on, it's not really the end of the world. So I'm just using that colorless blender and a little bit of that blue. I think I'll bring that blue down in here. Do I dare? No, I think I'll do my bubbles first before I take that off. So let me just get off some of that excess. So here, how I tried the eraser over top the other colors, that might be worthwhile, maybe doing some darker blue bubbles. I wonder what this color. So that blue that I was using was phthalo blue. And there's I have an ultramarine blue shade that's quite dark. I wonder how that would look. I'll do a few of those in the background and then do some of the lifting. So this stencil that I'm using is from Crafter's Workshop. I don't know what it's called, but it's just circles. So I'm just going to hold those down, and I'm going to use that dark one. Leave a little bit of mottled highlight in there. So I'm just going to do 3 dark ones, and then we'll do the rest with the eraser. Let's see at the back. Let's do this one. Maybe that one. Got 5 dark bubbles. I'm noticing that there's a lot of excess there, so I'm just going to shake. I'm just going to bring this here and shake it off. Maybe blow it a little bit. It does have a dark ring there, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. So now let's do some erasing. So I want those to overlap. See. So I think that looks pretty cool. So I've got my kneaded eraser somewhere, and Dee Dee explains really well that for the kneaded eraser you need to basically fold it over to get a fresh spot. Try to hold that down. It's hard to fold it down when you've got one hand on the stencil. I need an assistant. So So I'm just pushing down. And I'm hoping there's going to be enough of a contrast that's going to be effective. Just gonna fix this here with the first colors that we used, which was because I don't really want a bubble there. All right, let's figure out this part. So 1, 2, 3, we'll do those. All right, let's lift that up. Let's just add a little bit of that, those original colors to the top. And I think my mask is actually all right. Let's lift that. I'm just gonna wipe my fingers, and then I'm gonna dry my fingers really well. Hopefully we get a magical moment here. So there we have our little girl. And I can see the mask was a little bit shifted this way, but I actually don't mind that because it gives us a nice little highlight. So that was a happy accident. I didn't plan that, but it gives us really cool little highlight on her face. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll maybe do a photo montage after I spray it. You can spray it with either one, the workable fixative or the final varnish, as long as it's matte. You want matte. So I'm going to spray it. Dee Dee likes the final one better, so I'm just going to use that one. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time and your energy, and if you want to leave a comment or a thumbs up, that's appreciated. So thanks for watching.